Welcome back to another episode of Talking Shaymen, and it is episode 14. And this Saturday we are playing Torquay United. So why don't we preview the game? I am joined by Thomas, who is a Torquay fan from Torquay Talk. Thomas, how are you doing?
I'm very well, Luke, mate. Thank you very much for having me on. It's a pleasure. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. A little more positive now after that Bromley game, but yeah, Torquay, it's going to be a tough game, isn't it?
I hope so. I hope so. We've definitely improved since the turn of the year, unbeaten away from home,
Yeah.
albeit against all teams in the bottom half of the table. But considering how we started the season, obviously with a playoff hangover from last
Yeah.
season and a loss of a lot of key players, we've
Mhm.
started a bit slowly. But we've been getting there, and we've proven
Yeah.
to be a tough team to beat in recent weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it on Saturday. I think it's going to
Yeah.
be a good game.
It has been a bit of an inconsistent season, hasn't it, for Torquay United? You're looking at some of the big results they've got. For example, they've beaten Wrexham at home. They've beat the only side to beat Dave Challinor, Stockport side in the league. But then they go and drop points, like losing to Eastleigh, dropping points at Wealdstone, Barnet. It has been a consistency has been a problem, hasn't it, for Torquay this season?
Yes, it has. It has. The thing we've been saying in Torquay circles this year is we've got a team that can potentially get promoted this season. However, um, it's been a tough start.
Yeah.
We had some pretty poor results, like we lost to Altrincham at home on the opening day.
Yeah.
Woking absolutely played us off the park in
Mhm.
the second home game. But it's taken a while for some of the new players to click. Some of them
Yeah.
probably not as good as the players we had last season,
Mhm.
understandably so. But Gary Johnson and the coaching staff have done a good job
Yeah.
with working with what we've got, and we've done really well since the turn of the year. And we are finding that consistency, even if it's a lot of draws in there as well.
Mhm.
But fingers crossed, we're going in the right direction at
Mhm.
the moment.
Yeah. It was a difficult start to the season, understandably so. I think I predicted them quite low down. I think I said 15th, which were a bit of a shock compared to the previous season. But they'd lost some key players. For example, Kyle Cameron, probably some say probably the best centre half in this division based off recent years. For example, last season and even this season, you lost Ben Whitfield. He was a star man for you last season. Hall's not been the same player, has he, this season? I think a few Torquay fans have said. It has been quite a struggling season, hasn't it, for Torquay?
Yes, the thing with Carl Cameron was he
Yeah,
actually sort of became third choice towards the end of the season. He came back from injury, but our
yeah,
defensive pairing we had last season was really good,
hmm,
and he ended up sort of playing up front. Could you believe for
yeah,
the last few games just to
yeah,
sort of get into the team because we were lacking a bit of a strike force at the time,
hmm,
and with nothing to play for, why not? Um,
yeah,
but yeah, Ben Whitfield, love Ben Whitfield. I think he's a class player, football league quality player. I'm glad to see that he's doing well at Stockport. I know he got injured
mhm,
a couple of months
yeah,
ago, but it's good to see him back in the team. Yeah, like you said, a lot of quality that we had has moved on.
mhm,
Unfortunately, when you're competing with, such as the National League at the moment, there are clubs with three times
yeah,
the budget we have at Torquay. And the money's been tight this season. There's no,
yeah,
no way about it. But
mhm,
at the end of the day, we're doing okay. I think a lot of fans were expecting maybe a playoff push, like lower end playoff push.
yeah,
And we've made hard work of it. So our start was really poor, but we're getting there. We're getting there
yeah.
slowly but surely. And fingers crossed, unlikely as it is at the moment, that we can get in there before the season's over.
Yeah, I think that is for side of big as Torquay. I think that is their aim at the start of the season to try aim for the playoffs as a Torquay supporter. I believe it's similar to us. We always expect playoffs at the start of the season, and both sides, Halifax and Torquay, in recent years are doing extremely well, aren't they? And both sides
Mm.
trying to get back to the Football League. Would you say that's your aim for the near future for Torquay to get back to the Football League?
Oh, absolutely.
Hmm.
Since Gary Johnson's come in,
Yeah,
our just the mood of the club has changed. I mean, when he came in, when we were in the National League South, I mean, we were 14th when
yeah,
he came in, and we've gone and won the league by 10 points. And there's just a feel good factor around the club now.
hmm,
Even last season was some of the best football I think I've ever seen Torquay
yeah,
play. and it was just a shame that obviously no fans were allowed in for the majority of the games.
Yeah.
But I maintain that Gary Johnson is probably the best manager, at least in my lifetime, that we've ever had at the club, because I don't think there would be a Torquay United in its current form today if there wasn't Gary Johnson, or we definitely wouldn't be competing in the National League, let's put it that way.
Yeah, it was such a shame, wasn't it? Now I think a lot of people watching probably watched it on the telly, that Torquay versus Hartlepool game last season, and Torquay probably alongside Sutton, them two sides up with the two best sides and the most consistent sides in the division last season. And then to slip off and let Sutton sort of took the lead towards the end of the season for that title race, and you were expecting Torquay to do well in the playoffs, and they did. And so unfortunate, wasn't it, to lose to Hartlepool, especially in them circumstances.
Still hard to talk about now, mate. I tell you, it's I mean, what I will say is fair play to Sutton. I mean, we were 12 points clear at Christmas. We had a lot of injuries to some key players, and that sort of derailed us. But they won all their games in hand. I'm so glad that they're doing so well in League Two at the moment. I mean, they're in a cup final, aren't they? Against Rotherham, and I really hope that they do win that, and I really hope that they get promoted to League One, because they are a great club. And I think it goes to show that maybe there should be a third promotion slot for the National League, because the quality between League Two and maybe the top end of the National League, I don't think there's an awful lot between the clubs there now.
No. Even attendances as well. You're thinking of a lot of big clubs, like you think of the big six in our division, like your Stockports, your Wrexhams, your Southend's, Grimsby's, Notts County, Chesterfield. Them lot are probably League One. Some may even say Championship standard fan bases. And then you've got the smallish clubs like your Torquays, your Halifaxes, your Aldershots, who are definitely Football League clubs historically. And it's just so hard, isn't it, to get out of this division. I thought, as a Torquay fan, you will know after last season. And to be honest, Torquay would be out of this division, wouldn't they, if there were three sides that went up last season?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, we have to deal with what we have at the moment, and that's only one automatic and one through the playoffs. And, you know, I mean, Wrexham have been in this league, over 15, 16 years now? I mean, it's such a difficult league to get out of. It is League 3, really, isn't it? I mean, you could make a big argument that it is League 3. But there's a lot of very big clubs, and that makes it even harder for the sort of smaller clubs like us and you guys to get out of this division. It did feel like last year we missed out. That was our best chance.
It's scary though, isn't it, when you're thinking of like Wrexham, a size of their quality, being in this division for 16 years, and you see more clubs coming down. For example, next season it's looking like Scunthorpe are going to be relegated, and then there's either Carlisle, Oldham. Like Oldham, they were in the Premier League not too long ago, and you're thinking of sides like that coming down to non-league possibly next season.
I don't even want to think about it. So many long northern journeys potentially next season. I mean, you've got Gateshead, who probably are going to come up from the National League North next year as well. I mean, just the journeys are long enough.
And it's an awful stadium as well, isn't it? Gateshead Stadium. Like, it's not too far from us, but it's not a nice stadium at all.
Yeah, I've done that a few times. I actually flew up once for a 0-0. That was
fair play to you then. But we'll quickly have a look at the chat before we do go any further. Freddie Eastwood's come on and said, I'm going with 3-1 Halifax, Slew, Summerfield and Warburton. I love your Bromley vlog. Keep it up, mate. Hope we can get a few subscriptions before your birthday. What's your prediction, Luke, for Saturday? We'll move on to that in a bit. Thank you, Freddie, for that. Shaymen FC's come on. Going to be a tough one Saturday, if I'm honest. As much as I would love the win, I'm going for a 2-2 draw. Fair plays, agreed with you. If anyone else has any thoughts on the games, score predictions, please leave them below. I'm sure I'd love to read them out. But moving on then. Now, I want to talk a bit about the reverse fixture. Now, I didn't personally go. I'm sure you were in attendance that game. And we were 3-0 up, weren't we, with 10 minutes to go or so. And Torquay almost pulled it back. I didn't even listen to the last 5 minutes of the game on commentary.
Unfortunately, Luke, I actually wasn't there. But I can't quite believe how we almost nicked a point from that, because from what I heard from friends and people that went there, we were pretty poor that day. But I think Billy Waters scored, didn't he?
Yeah.
First against the old club. But I think it showed, at least to Torquay fans, that we they're still fighting us. I mean, last season we
Yeah,
were known for scoring in the 90th minute so many times. I've
yeah,
never seen anything like it. And it was
mhm,
after that Halifax game we sort of went on a bit of a resurgence. Like we picked up
yeah,
some pretty good form. Um,
mhm,
I mean, there's no easy games, maybe barring Dover, although we struggled
yeah,
at home against Dover. Um,
mhm,
but yeah, it was a tough game, a tough result to take. But I think you were
yeah.
deserving of the win, from what I understand.
Yeah. Mhm. I think the travelling Shaymen that I spoke to that day said it was a very good performance from us, especially after we just lost to Wrexham and the confidence was probably low for us. I think that was only our second defeat of the season at home, going into Torquay, who quite awkward opposition because you expect to beat a side like Torquay who are currently mid-table when we're hoping to try possibly automatics, and to go there, and it's always a difficult place to go because of the journey and the quality
Mm,
of Torquay. So it was great for us to get the 3 points there, and yeah, we almost bottled it, but I've heard that a lot of players for us like Jordan Slew, etc., played really well in that game. But yeah, it just showed that Torquay aren't pushovers at all. To be 3-0 down and to almost pull it back, yeah, and I'm sure it's going to be definitely a different story on Saturday for the Shaymen and Torquay
mm.
United. But I want to talk a bit about Billy Waters then. Now, I remember this is a joke that we had, and I'm not even joking, it was true. The playoff final, when Billy Waters missed that penalty, I don't want to remind you of that. I remember my dad actually saying, "Oh, we need to sign him up, Billy Waters." I'm saying, like, we're going to get Billy Waters. He lives down south. He's at Torquay. And this was before there were any rumours of us signing him out. Anyway, a couple of weeks later, we end up signing Billy Waters, and he couldn't believe his eyes that we'd actually signed him after we basically made up that rumour. But yeah, what were your thoughts of Billy Waters when he was at Torquay?
I thought he was a very good player for us. Didn't
Yeah.
necessarily score as many goals as I think he and we would wanted him to have got. But I was
Hmm.
very disappointed when I found out that he wasn't going to be staying with us. And
Yeah.
I mean, he scored what, 14, 15 goals for you
Yeah.
this season?
15.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, he was a good player
Mhm.
in Billy, and he was good for us. Sadly, missed the penalty in the final. I think he slipped from
Yeah.
memory.
Yeah. Yeah. He
But
did.
I really rated him, and I think a Billy Waters in our team this season, I think we would have definitely scored a lot more goals and be a bit further up the table than we are now. But
Hmm.
no, I'm glad to see that he's doing well, finding the net. That tends to happen to a lot of ex-Torquay strikers. They don't
Yeah.
necessarily score the goals for us, and they'll go elsewhere, and
Hmm.
they just start finding the back of the net. That it just seems
Yeah. Hmm.
a typical Torquay thing to do. This
Yeah.
with
Hmm.
some of those
Yeah.
players.
It is. I think he's probably his breakthrough season, and it's probably best season so far in his career at Halifax so far. And it was a great signing for us, especially for a side like Torquay who did so well last season. Did he struggle to get in the side? Because I know I looked at his goal ratio; it was actually pretty impressive last season, considering how many games he started. Do you think possibly if he had a bit more game time, or if the side was possibly a little weaker with likes of Ben Whitfield not in the side, he might have got more game time and broke through a little more?
Yeah, yeah, I do think that. A lot. It was weird. Like one week he'd be on the bench, the next he'd be in the team, then he'd be on the bench again the following week.
Yeah.
I think when Benji Kimpioka came in on loan, that sort of put Billy onto the sidelines a little bit on coming on from the bench. Um, like he only came on I think he came on for the last 7 minutes in the playoff final.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah.
he's definitely, he's a quality player on his day.
Mhm.
He scored some important goals for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a summer, like a proper summer pre-season for us, he would be. Well, he is scoring the goals, and you're
Yeah.
reaping the rewards from that.
Yeah.
But, no, I'm
Mhm.
glad. I'm glad he's doing well for you guys. I mean, hopefully we can keep him quiet on Saturday, and he has a stinker. But
Yeah. Hopefully from your point of view. But yeah, Torquay this season, though, like I've said, the form recently has improved massively and they are capable of some great results, obviously beating Wrexham at home. They've also defeated Stockport. And Stockport, the only side to actually beat Stockport under Dave Challinor. Now, that's quite impressive considering Torquay's current position. and no sides have particularly come close after to defeating Stockport this season, probably apart from Chesterfield. So you're not going to be pushovers on Saturday, are you?
No, no. Like I said earlier, we've become a much tougher team to break down.
Yeah.
Not necessarily keeping clean sheets, but we are finding goals again. A lot of the problem we've had this season is the strike force haven't been able to find the net as often. I think our top scorer is Connor Athens, who plays in midfield, and Armani Little, who are also a midfielder. So it's clear where the issue lies for us. And we bought. We had on loan Sinclair Armstrong from Queen's Park Rangers for a couple of months, and he was like different gravy. Like it was just what we needed. He had pace, and unfortunately, he went back to QPR, and we never really properly found a replacement since then. So, and obviously Danny Wright up front, he's been struggling. He scored 2 goals against Kings Lynn last weekend, which was really good. But I mean, he's 37. He hasn't quite got the legs, he used to have. And a lot of the time he's been isolated up front on his own. So there's goals along the whole squad, but where we've been lacking is a clinical goal scorer up front.
Is that the difference to possibly last season with Asa Hall, for example, because he was a little more consistent, what I've heard from Torquay fans last season. One's just come in the chat now promoting Torquay United. But has it been a problem for you with the likes of Asa Hall not being at the exact same form as the previous year?
The problem with Asa is he's been injured a few times this season. I mean, he's 36 as well. So, I mean, he gives you that experience in the midfield. But last season, he was a threat from corners. And he was scoring some great goals. He's had it a bit difficult to get going this season. But we're definitely a better side, in my opinion, anyway, with him in the squad. But it's just getting that game time from him, like the full 90 minutes. He's not going to, like him and Wright, they're not going to be playing 90 minutes week in, week out. And, but we've got quite a relatively young squad, so the experience that we've got there from him and Wright are very important. But this season it's been a bit more of a struggle for him. I think it's just more down to injuries than anything else.
And Matt, now there's one player particularly that has come through and positive to Torquay this season, a player that's come under the radar a little bit. I think you probably know who I'm on about. Amari Little. Now, last season he didn't particularly break into the side. It didn't see, wasn't too much going forward, didn't seem to get too many goals. This season, undoubtedly, he's been Torquay's star man. When you look at Torquay from an opposition focus, you see him as their danger man.
Yeah, he's class. He is class on his day. Last season he definitely had glimpses. He was a bit slow this season to get going. Unfortunately, against Dover at home, he was announced as our man of the match and was booed by a certain section of the fan base. 30 seconds later, he scores in the last minute and wins us the game. And since then, he's been a man on a mission. He scored an absolute worldie goal at Barnet. It was like a 30-yard free kick, absolutely top draw stuff. And he's definitely improved a lot under Gary Johnson. He's definitely a key player for us. He has his off days, like all everyone in the squad. But when he's on form, there's not many better.
For Torquay then, are there any other particular danger men who we should be a little concerned about for Saturday?
Well, we've signed Duke McKenna on loan. He's come in and he has been probably one of my players of the season already, and he's only been with us for about a month or so on the wing. I think he's come through. I think he's on loan from Queen's Park Rangers as well, and he had a really good game on Saturday. He's willing to run. Creates a lot of width. Not afraid to have a pop at goal. He scored a really good goal against Kings Lynn away. He's definitely one to watch out for. I mean, Connor Lemon-Eye Evans is a great player. He was probably my player of the season last year. He's just got great skill. I think also looking maybe at the goalkeeper, Sean McDonald. He's been with us. He was with us through the National League South days. He was sort of dropped last season to second choice keeper.
Yeah.
He decided to leave in the summer to try other avenues, but he came back to us after
Yeah.
our new goalkeeper we brought in, Houston, made quite a few errors in the first few games, and he's come back and he has been world class. He's a completely different keeper. He's confident. He's not afraid. He shouts a lot. He saved us on plenty of occasions this season, and it's one of the reasons why we are where we are now and how we've climbed up the table. Because he's our player of the. He's probably going to be our player of the season, which says a lot when the goalkeeper is the player of the season. But he's definitely made the number one his own, and he'll be tough to get the ball past. Yeah.
How will Torquay approach Saturday's game then? How will they come into the game? Will they be quite defensive and cautious and try play on the counter attack? Will they try keep a lot of the ball? Or will they be a bit of a hoofball team? Now, I'm sure they won't be that, but how will they approach the game on Saturday?
Well, Gary Johnson's been around football a long time in management. I'm pretty sure after 3, consecutive home games for you guys, the pitch is going to be not the best.
Yeah.
I imagine we'll be playing quite a direct game, but we like to have, we like to take control, have the ball. We like to push forward. Last season it was a case of, oh, you've scored 2, or we're just going to score 3, 4. It's not a problem. We try and play, we try and move the ball around, utilize the wingers very well. But we've also got Dean Moxey, who can launch a very good long ball throw in. And I think it's going to be end to end.
Yeah.
But we have to respect the fact that you've got the joint best home record in the division.
Yeah.
You're third in the table for a reason, and you're in pretty good form as well. So it should be, on paper, a really entertaining game, and hopefully people will turn out for it. I know the Yellow Army are going to turn out in good numbers on Saturday. So.
They always do Torquay United, and they are quite a well-connected club now. I think there was something online that went viral of Gary Johnson after the game getting a Domino's for all the Torquay United fans. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think where that was. Was that Notts County or?
It looked like Notts County Stadium. It was like a gate, so yeah, it might have been.
Yeah, I think that was the game we had a man sent off quite early on, and we managed to hold on for a 1-1 draw. And we made, for all Notts County, the ball they had, they didn't really do much with it. Gary Johnson's, he's a great guy. Spoken to, I remember when he came in, I had a quick chat with him. I think it was at Hungerford, his first game, and just his knowledge and how he wants to make the club a more, get involved with the fans more.
Yeah.
He's there's the feel good factor between the club and the fans now, which maybe 4 or 5 years ago we didn't have.
Yeah, has the attendance improved then? Obviously, you're in the league below in the National League South, but has it improved not just because of the promotions? Has it improved just naturally through the likes of there's a buzz going around the town with the likes of Gary Johnson in charge?
Yeah, before Gary Johnson came in, I think we were averaging about 1,500 in the National League South, which is still pretty good for National League South standards. But for Torquay United standards, we have a loyal, I'd say, 2,000 fan base, which we tend to get most games at the moment. They've definitely improved. Like the Tuesday night fixtures, we're getting around, just under 2,500, which probably wouldn't have got that in a couple of years ago. And there's definitely new fans coming in. The atmosphere has definitely improved. That play more. It had some days it can be pretty quiet there, but there's a bunch of younger fans who have come in this year, and they've done a fantastic job in generating the atmosphere. And the players and the staff definitely appreciate our support. We took nearly over 300 to Altrincham in the middle of January. It's amazing.
Yeah, for Torquay United, does it seem like this does happen with Halifax, for example? You have your poorer games, for example, maybe Barnet at home or Dover at home. The atmosphere slightly dips and it does go a little quiet. But then, for example, let's say we have Bromley on Tuesday night or Wrexham or even any away game. It always seems to improve and be like, wow, this atmosphere is incredible. I wish we could have this every single week. Do you sort of feel like that as a Torquay United fan?
Yeah, you definitely. I mean, it's good when you're playing the bigger sides when they bring a
Yeah,
big following. I mean, a lot of people make Torquay a long weekend, don't they? So they come
yeah,
down in bigger numbers.
hmm
It's always good because you can then bounce it off between the home fans and the away fans, and
yeah,
then you get the smaller clubs, who bring maybe 30 or 40. No disrespect to them.
yeah,
That's the nature of some teams in the National League.
hmm
But the atmosphere, especially from a Playmore standpoint as a home fan. I mean, I stand in the pop side where all the noise comes
yeah,
from, and
yeah,
I've definitely noticed an improvement. I mean,
hmm
away from home is good as well. I mean, some
yeah,
some grounds are
the-
better than others for making atmosphere. I know
yeah.
Halifax will be a good atmosphere.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I do doubt this. Nothing disrespect to Torquay United just because of the long distance, and you never know. But if you did bring possibly 500 plus, and I do doubt that. I don't know. You probably have a bit more detail on that. You will be putting the Skirket shed, and that's where the likes of Wrexham's, your Grimsby's usually go, and that's well known for a great atmosphere. I know historically we've always used to use that stand. Unfortunately, it's not in operation anymore for home fans. But every time an away day comes at Stockport, come Grimsby, come Wrexham Club, it's always a great atmosphere for bouncing off the fans. They do.
mm.
It's to stay so far away from the home fans. How many do you reckon you'll be bringing on Saturday? I'll give an estimation now. I'd probably say 300 plus because Halifax is quite a good away day. I've heard.
I think it might be a bit less than that, but
Yeah,
I mean, we took 150 to Dover.
yeah,
We had about 150 to 200 at Kings Lynn last week.
hmm
We've got quite a good northern contingent of Goals fans. I know there's the
yeah,
Yorkshire Goals who'll definitely be there. I'd like to think we'll take about 200, maybe
yeah,
250,
hmm
which is pretty par for the
yeah.
course, I would imagine.
Impressive. Yeah. That's pretty impressive. Now, I always look at away sides. I don't look at the home support that they get. I look at the percentage from home fans that go away. And Torquay are probably the best in the league on that department. For example, 250 to Halifax. Let's say they get 2,500 at home. That's 1 in 10 people going to Halifax for a 5.5 hour trip. It's pretty impressive.
Yes, we're a loyal bunch, us Torquay
Yeah.
fans. I think it's mainly due to as well the fact that down in the southwest there's not really big like Premier League
Yeah.
clubs. I mean, maybe you could argue Bristol City are the closest to
Yeah.
us, but even that's still quite a distance away. And I think you'll
Yeah.
find, especially like the Plymouth Argyles and the Exeter Cities and us, they
Yeah.
bring a lot of away fans. They're very well supported.
hmm Yeah.
I know the people that run the Torquay United Travel Club, and they do a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Um,
hmm
Maybe not appreciated as much by the football club as they
Yeah.
should be, but they always make an effort to go to every game,
Yeah.
and
hmm
they'll be taking. I mean, hopefully a small coach up. Probably depends on how many they can get booked on. But I know
Yeah.
I expect there'll be a good contingent of the Yellow Army there on
Yeah.
Saturday, and they'll make themselves heard because I know at the
Yeah.
Shade you can get a good atmosphere there.
Yeah. Yeah. Looking forward to meeting a few of them. For any Torquay fans watching this, for possible places to go, I'm sure some of you probably already know where to go. There's the Peace Hall in Halifax, which is very popular for away fans. There's also the Away Bar pub, which is the Pigeons. There's loads of pubs in Halifax, and there's also the General Family Bar at the Shea, which is the East End Bar. If you'd like to go there, food's usually pretty good. I've heard in the away end for Halifax too. So yeah, should be a good atmosphere for Saturday's game, and I'm looking forward to it. Finally, then Tom, what is your score prediction?
I think it's going to be 2-2.
2-2.
Um, 2-2. I think a point that the Shea would be a good return for us. I
Yeah,
think it's one of those games where if our key players are back in the squad,
yeah,
it's one that we can definitely get 3 points from, and it could be one
mhm,
that might kickstart our
yeah,
quest for the playoffs again. Because it's quite funny with Torquay. It's like we have a win, and it's yeah,
mhm.
it's on again, and then we
And then
maybe
you
pick up a
stop.
couple of
Yeah,
draws, and it's like, oh, it's not going to happen.
yeah,
But I think we're under no illusions. It's going to be a tough ask
mhm,
to keep your strike force quiet. But
yeah,
hopefully it's a good game. It's a shame I'm not going to be
mm,
there.
yeah,
But I think a point would be a very good return for us. I don't
yeah.
know what you
Mhm.
think.
We wouldn't take a point against Torquay. It wouldn't be the worst performance. I know before the Bromley game we'll say we'd take 4 points at least, and some fans may disagree with me there, but 2 tough opponents. I'm sure Torquay will be just as good as Bromley, if not better, with Torquay's current form. And yeah, it is a little concerning from my point of view when you're looking at Torquay's away form and the form that they're currently on in 2022 now. Are they they're unbeaten, aren't they, away from, is it at home or away from home in 2022?
So away from home, we were unbeaten. I think we've won 4 and drawn 1.
Yeah.
However, they've all been against sides in the bottom half of the table.
Yeah.
2 of them were against Kings Lynn and Dover. But if you want to be contesting for promotion in the playoffs, you have to win those games. Yeah, and they're tough games. You know, at Kings Lynn, it was sort of, they had nothing to lose because they're quite a few points off safety now, so it was really they had to win and to sort of give themselves a little bit of a chance. And Dover, I mean, again, they're just playing for pride, but they made it difficult for us down there until we took control towards the end. There's no easy games in the National League. There just isn't. Like,
no. It's like us. We almost dropped points to Dover. They took the lead against us on Saturday. I think if I was to give a score prediction for Saturday, an early one, I think I'm going to go for 3-1 Halifax. I do believe we'll concede because Torquay have been seem to be improving over recent weeks, but hopefully we can get all 3 points. Anyway, thank you to everyone that's watched today's live video. Fair play to all the Torquay fans who are coming up to the show on Saturday. Fair play to you. Thomas, I really appreciate you coming on. I'll leave Torquay Talk a link in the description for any Torquay fans who possibly might not have found you yet, or Halifax fans who are wanting to find information from their point of view on Saturday's game. Thanks for coming on, Thomas, and good luck on Saturday, but not too much.
Thank you, Luke. Absolute pleasure talking to you, mate. All the best on